Alrighty, guys. Good evening. Good evening. I'm Ryan alongside our meteorologist, Joel Fritzma.
Good evening, everyone.
We are Michigan Storm Chasers. Tonight is going to be a weekly live stream we do every single Monday night at 7 p.m. on the dot. Welcome into the channel. If you're new here, consider liking and subscribing. We do this content all the time here at MSC. So if you like Michigan weather, be sure to follow along. Let's go ahead and dive into what we got going on. We have a bunch of advisories and warnings out there for winter weather. We have two warnings in effect up here for Houghton and Ontonagon counties. All around it, in these purple shaded counties are our winter weather advisories. So a good chunk of West Michigan here, from Lansing to Jackson to Kalamazoo to Grand Rapids, up toward Ludington and Big Rapids, all the way up here toward Sheboygan, Bay Harbor, Gaylord area, all the way up here to Munising, Marquette areas. Winter weather advisories in effect now until roughly tomorrow around noon or so. These advisories do have different end and start times and different expectations, so to speak. So be sure if you find yourself underneath an advisory, make sure you know what it's for from the NWS there across the region. With that being said, we have accumulating snowfall that is going to be looking for us here, likely now through the evening, and then it's going to become heavier overnight into tomorrow morning. Looking at a few things here on the models, mainly you're going to be looking at the precipitation accumulation here. Go ahead and flip this back on here. There's our forecasted radar here across Michigan. This is going to be sorry, not the forecasted radar. This is what the forecast radar is going to look like here. So the lighter blue is your snow, the heavier, darker blues are your heavier bands. Most of this is going to stay up in northern Michigan through the day today. As we move toward tonight, though, notice the increase down here in southwest Michigan. So Grand Rapids points eastward there towards the Lansing area. But the bulk of the heavier stuff, you're going to see these brighter blue bands up here in the UP. And that's going to dump a lot of snow for our friends up in the UP as well. Moving this forward into the time frame throughout tomorrow, we're going to see a shift down here. The heavier bands come a little bit further south here toward Traverse City, Cadillac areas. Then southward here toward that 94, 96 corridor, we're getting that snow continuing there. Go ahead and take the radar off the screen and just kind of continue with the accumulation through roughly the Wednesday morning time frame. We're seeing the heaviest accumulation here centered from Grand Rapids to Lansing. The heaviest or the heavier is going to be up here by Gaylord, Munising, and over toward the Houghton County areas. These yellow bands here are indicating 6+ inches of snow. Let's go ahead and dive into the actual model here. We kind of give a better idea in terms of what to expect with our accumulation. So this is the Kuchera method. The brighter banding here in pink is 8 to 12 inches in spots all along the UP. Our typical lake effect belts from Gaylord to the UP. This time does include the western part of the UP as well with heavy lake effect snow. But do take note, we are seeing lighter accumulations down here between Grand Rapids and we're going to say Ludington, Traverse City area. But we do also have a wide accumulation zone of anywhere from an inch or two up to about 4 or 5 inches that extends all the way down here toward the Indiana line over toward the Ann Arbor area. So we could see accumulations really ramp up there, especially overnight tonight into tomorrow morning between 94 and 96 for us along southern Michigan. So again, East Michigan here, if I zoom way in here, we're going to see accumulations here 1 to 3 inches, really, if you find yourself in western Lenawee, western or northern Washtenaw, Livingston, Oakland counties there, perhaps even Genesee and Shiawassee County, getting in some action with the snow bands throughout the overnight into tomorrow period. Our overall forecast, it looks like this currently. We're going 5 to 12, as much as 12 inches up there in the western part of the UP there. It'll be a little bit lower end, closer you get to the Lake Superior Lakeshore up there. Going around the UP, we're getting anywhere from 2 to 4, 3 to 6 in spots, and another higher end areas over toward Munising and Grand Marais there, 5 to 8 inches, and then down further south there toward Gaylord, just west of the city of Gaylord. We're going 5 to 8 as a bullseye there. Then it's 3 to 6 around it, and then a 2 to 4 extends further south toward Grand Rapids, and we're going 3 to 6 here from roughly Grand Rapids down to Kalamazoo and over toward, we're going to say Charlotte area, a little bubble of 3 to 6 there. We could definitely see that extend a little bit further east, depending on how these bands interact. But overall, good forecast here, we feel, for today, into tonight, into tomorrow with our predictions here. And this goes until Wednesday, FYI. So this is going to be the entire event when it comes to a close here. So overall, another lake effect band, another lake effect snow event here for us in Michigan. We do have a couple of long-term concerns with colder temperatures beyond Wednesday, but also looking at a potential system for the weekend. Let's go ahead and move forward here into our temperature forecast here. So looking at temperatures next 3 days. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will be cold. Likely going to have highs right around 20 degrees. Lows going to be in the teens. Could have wind chills in the single digits, could close to zero in spots. So it's going to be Arctic areas here for a few days. For a brief warm up here for our Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We could see mid 30s, perhaps even upper 30s, maybe if we're lucky, touching 40 in spots, but mid 30s, upper 30s expectation. And then as we move toward the weekend, Sunday the 19th, we're going to welcome back the Arctic air as your subscription to Antarctica is renewed and will renew for quite some time, likely at least a week, if not a bit more. We're going to see high temperatures there, according to the model here, in the single digits, and lows that are below zero definitely on the table here for portions of Michigan. It's going to be cold for probably, like I said, 7 to 10 days here. I am seeing a sign that we could start warming up toward the late half of the month, like the last 4 or 5 days or so of the month could warm up back toward freezing, if not over freezing. Right now, confidence is low in that. The pattern is cold. But what about snow? So let's go ahead and take a look at here. Two more things before I move on to snow chances. The CPC temperature outlook here, updated today, keeps the 80 to 90% chance for all of Michigan in below average temperatures there. That basically a good chunk of the Midwest and also the deep South there in a very, very darker blue category there. It's a higher probability is what that communicates, with the bullseye of that higher probability over Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee areas. So if you guys have friends in the deep South or even in the Ozarks or Tennessee, Ohio valleys there, they're going to be cold. This is not typical for them to have this high probability to be this cold into January here. So overall, that pattern will continue. Here's your 8 to 14 day outlook. The overall probability starts to lower as we get later in the month. So some confidence is there that we may trend a little warmer towards that. Like I said, last 4 or 5 days of the month, it's possible, but still looking below average here for the most part, starting on that Saturday, Sunday timeframe and continuing for at least about a week or so. Now, in terms of systems to watch, I know a lot of you guys, ourselves included, we're kind of keeping an eye on the weekend time frame. We posted a few days ago, the Climate Prediction Center put out a slight risk for heavy snow between about the 18th and 22nd of January, around that time frame. Right now, confidence is low. Models are starting to hint at a system. The GFS has had a system for the last couple of runs. The Euro's kind of having a system here, but they're kind of split on how this evolves. Let's go ahead and go into the future here. This is your systems out of the United States. It tells us low pressure here. There's a low pressure center right here over the Canada area, and then blue high pressure systems. Those kind of mark the systems and kind of areas to watch here for development. So we're moving into the weekend time frame. We're going to have lake effect snow here through the first couple of days, picked up well here by the European model. As we move closer to the midweek time frame, we could have a clipper system that moves in for our northern friends once again. So could have some snowfall late Wednesday, early Thursday. As we move toward the weekend, we're going to watch the system to our south here that kind of draws up some moisture, and we have a developing system in the Ohio Valley region. This is, at this point, late Friday, early Saturday. That says it's going to move off as a weak system to our east, but as it does so, it does change the snow, but it does miss Michigan. Okay, that's the European solution. The GFS solution is a little bit more aggressive in terms of our snowfall chances. We're going to see, once again, lake effect snow next couple of days here. Clipper system, late Wednesday, early Thursday, possible for light snow accumulations. And then we're going to move into the weekend here. Watch around the Ohio Valley. Right there, there's our system that flares up. So both models do agree on a system developing. They're very split on the strength and exact track. And if we're going to get snow, is it going to be rain, so on and so forth. So here's a system to watch there that draws up moisture. And then this GFS model this afternoon does show snow for Michigan. So if you're a snow lover, fingers crossed. We're still 114 hours out. So we're getting close to short to mid-range models here, but just not quite there yet. Let's watch it. Let's keep an eye on it. Overall, do think there is a chance of precip this weekend. Whether that falls as snow or rain is still up in the air here, but that is still a time frame to watch. This is Friday into Saturday, so do keep an eye on that. We'll keep you guys covered here in terms of what we expect as we get closer to the event. Going long-term past the next weekend time frame, the pattern remains active here. We go ahead and just continue rolling this through the time frame. Yeah, model's broken. That's a great time for the model to break. So I guess we can't go past that. But Just take my word for it. The active pattern continues here. A lot of clipper systems that we're seeing that could dump a lot of light snow. A couple bigger systems being shown, but again, those are still, we call them fantasy land at this point. They're still 10 plus days out. The pattern's active. That's all the takeaway we can give you guys at this point. Let's just cross our fingers and hope we can get into an active storm track here to give us some snow chances here pretty soon. I do think the pattern does remain active and favorable for that. With that being said, that is your next 7 to 10 days here in Michigan. So lake effect today, tomorrow, into Wednesday. System midweek potentially for lighter snow, maybe 1-2 inches or so. We'll have a forecast out for that if need be. And then we're going to trend a little bit warmer for the weekend before we dive back into Arctic air mass for next week. And with snow chances centered between now, obviously, lake effect and also the weekend for about Friday, Saturday timeframe. Did I miss anything, Joel?
No, I think that was a pretty good rundown. Again, those temperatures that Ryan did show there, we're out of the capital city region for the next couple days, for the next 2 weeks, I guess you could say. If you go to areas north, obviously where you have the higher terrain in like Gaylord, Roscommon, then you obviously have the higher terrain in the UP, Western UP. Those temperatures are going to vary by about 5 to 10 degrees colder. So we could very well see daytime highs below 5 degrees to start the week next week in some of those higher elevation areas. I guess you could say higher elevation in quotes, because in northern Michigan it is slightly higher, but not by much. But if you go into Western UP, the difference is significant. So,
and there's your Gaylord map there, as Joel just mentioned. The coldest 2 days there, 20th and 21st of January, as he said, the temperatures for highs are 4 and 7 at this point. So very, very cold up there. The kids want to know if Ottawa County will have any snow days. If there's going to be any snow days, it's probably going to be on Wednesday or Thursday. Although accumulations for you guys will remain quite light in nature, maybe 3 to 6. I don't know. We could isolate school closings, but I think most schools will go just because it's over a longer period of time. We'll see, though. Thank you, Ashley, for another month of membership here on MSC YouTube. Appreciate you coming back for another month. We are glad to do this. My camera is out of focus, so I apologize for that. It's been acting up all day.
There's the snowfall totals full screen. Again, this is going to be through Wednesday. We do expect the lake effect snow to taper off sometime by the afternoon hours on Wednesday. So Wednesday evening will be pretty clear. Some leftover lake effect could be seen over in the east side of the state. But overall, the majority of this is going to fall between tonight and the end of the day tomorrow on Tuesday.
Yeah, Lansing is in the 1 to 3 dispatch.
Yes.
How deep is the cold going to be? It's going to be a little hard to pinpoint exact temperatures, but what we're kind of seeing on the long-term averages, we're seeing anywhere from 10 to 20 degrees below average. That puts us anywhere from 8 degrees to 18 degrees in that range, with obviously lower amounts as we get into or lower temperatures as we get into the evening hours and stuff like that. So anywhere from really 0 to 20 degrees for your high temperatures. The one thing I want to say very closely, or mention very closely, is the wind chills during this time frame. We're going to have some wind throughout this period of cold air, and that's going to give us wind chills likely well below 0, -10, -20, maybe even -30 possible. If you're up in the UP, you're going to get closer to those -20, -30 numbers. But for us here in the LP, Lake Michigan may save us a few of the nights. So, but still, wind chills likely below 0 for a extended period of time.
Yeah, and these lake effect totals do not include what's currently falling out there today. I want to mention that real quick. It is snowing out there for a lot of areas, but this map does start officially at midnight tonight. So that'll be totals through the entire day on Tuesday and on Wednesday, not including tonight. Ashley C., one of our other longtime members here, back for another month here on MSC YouTube. Thank you, Ashley C., stopping by to say, you guys rock. You rock just as much. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate that.
Coming back for another month. It would probably be a Ryan. I was thinking we haven't done this in a while. Give away a couple memberships tonight.
Those are given away back on the 1st of January.
Dang it! I was not here.
I know you weren't. I actually said during that live stream, Joel's going to kill me when he finds out I gave these away.
That's all right.
Yeah, we were rock and roll in that stream, so I figured let's go ahead and give some away.
Okay.
How much snow do you think Detroit Metro is going to get in the following 4 to 5 days? It's going to really depend on the potential system for the weekend. If we trend, for a bullseye snow system, it could be anywhere from 4 to 8, or if we have nothing, it could be nothing. It's kind of hard to pinpoint with these systems that are in the mid to long range exactly how they're going to track. So all I can tell you is stay tuned. We'll post updates on the page. Right now, models are just split. We can't really give you much in the way of any insight because honestly, we don't know. If anybody tries to tell you that, they don't know either. They're just guessing at this point.
Another thing about lake effect over the next 36 hours here is now we have a west to east wind. For those who might be longtime Michiganders, usually that is a good sign of lake effect being carried further inland. Whereas, if it's north and south, it's going to run right down the lakeshore. So, you're going to have these bands that you'll see, like we saw tonight, all the way over towards Port Huron and I-69 there, already starting. And that's due to some of our higher winds as well, carrying those lake effect snow belts. So while that's good for places inland, if you live along the lakeshore and you have those 25 to 30 mile per hour winds at the surface, 30 to 40 at the 850 millibar level, that's going to carry your snow away from like the lakeshore areas. So you could see places like Ludington, Muskegon, Holland on here, where you see in that light blue, they're not going to see perhaps as much as places, 10, 20 miles away from the lakeshore. So keep that in mind, west to east wind, and then it will switch ever so slightly to out of the northwest by Wednesday, and that will cause some of our snow belts to move just down. And for example, in Allegan, Kalamazoo County there, those lake effect bands will hit those areas along I-94. So if you're traveling I-94, probably on Wednesday or late tomorrow night, it's going to be a little tricky there. And we have to mention I-94 because that is always, the one place that gets hit the most by lake effect snow.
Kevin back with 10 memberships gifted. Thank you, Kevin, for your longtime support here at MSC. And welcome to the team for those who just got gifted.
Yes, thank you, Kevin. As always mentioned in every broadcast live stream that we do, everybody does. Some people do give away gifted memberships here on our YouTube channel. So if you are a subscriber on YouTube, you do have a chance at getting a membership. It is completely random and it expires in 30 days. So keep that in mind. Thank you, Kevin.
Is there any evidence the pattern can moderate toward February? Right now, a little bit too far out to say for sure, but I do see a sign that February could be trending a little warmer, especially with our temperatures now looking a little warmer there, especially toward the mid part of February. We're still a little bit too far out, but I think the pattern will remain a little colder into the first part of the month. But as we move toward that mid range or mid-month time frame, we could be looking at a little bit of a warm up there. That's an early guess. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, there's another good question on here off of Facebook. Can you explain why the area of 3 to 6 inches in that specific area with the lower amounts just south and just north? So that has to do with something we call the fetch. So it is the total distance of lake water available for lake effect snow to develop. So the more open water you have, the greater possibility or the greater your lake effect snow totals will be. So given that east to west wind or slightly, I guess you could say west northwest to south southeast wind, so it's going to be just slightly down and south of 96. You can see how that area of Lake Michigan has an extra 20 miles of width across, whereas if you go up towards Ludington, between Ludington and I think I don't know what's on the other side of Wisconsin, but if you go straight across from Ludington, that area there you can see on your map is a lot skinnier, a lot less of a fetch than what you would have offshore Muskegon and Holland. So it all has to do with the fetch. That also has to do with why we have these higher totals up in the northern portions of Lake Michigan as well. Especially when you have a northwest wind, you can get the fetch from Lake Michigan and from Lake Superior, which Lake Superior, is like 200 miles across. So when you have two lakes back to back and then coming into Gaylord, that is why they get a lot of higher lake effect holes up there too. And that is why they've had 110 inches of snow this year, is because of some microclimate features like that on top of orographic lifting. So hopefully that explains it a little bit and it wasn't too confusing, but that is what we learn in meteorology. So, and ultimately you do want larger temperature differences as well between the lake waters and the open air. So it's about a 3-kilometer difference. You need about a 15 degrees Celsius difference. And we're going to get that tomorrow, especially, but then the difference will be lesser on Wednesday, which will cut right off the lake effect snow bands. So it'll just stop.
Mike has a question here in chat. Does the ice accumulation on Lake Michigan affect how much snow we're going to get? Yes, it does. As the lake waters cool and as they freeze over, that does not allow as big of a temperature difference between the lake waters and the surface temperature. And when you don't have that big temperature difference, as Joel just mentioned, that will essentially cut off our lake effect snow machine. So the more ice we have building on the lakes, that means our lake effect snow chances will be diminishing.
Yeah. And not only does it get colder, but you're literally just putting a cap on the water basically with all that ice. So you can't get water to really evaporate through that ice. So we're already seeing that on portions of the extreme western Lake Michigan and portions of the Huron Bay. Some lake ice is starting to form there, but that really won't start forming immensely until we get through probably this upcoming weekend when we get temperatures down there in the single digits.
See a lot of questions in here for school closings. I think some school closings are possible between tomorrow and Wednesday, but I don't think they're going to be widespread in nature.
Mm-hmm.
Alec, we already talked about those at the end of the weekly synopsis, so like 8 minutes in or so. Overall, the end of the week systems, we're kind of watching Friday into Saturday. We could have a system pass through, or we may not. Right now, models are. I know a lot of meteorologists use the Plinko. If you guys know what Plinko is from The Price is Right, you drop a token into like this chart or a game chart, whatever you want to call it. It has all these little areas it can go to and like a bunch of different solutions at the bottom. So right now we're kind of playing Plinko with this system. You drop it in and we're waiting for the result. So we'll have to keep an eye out and see what the models kind of can agree upon or come into congruence with. But right now it's just way too far out and models are doing a poor job at handling it. So we're in the wait and see mode at this point.
The winter storm warning is up there in Ontonagon and northern Houghton County right now. So what's really interesting about during our winter weather months is that the National Weather Service actually splits the counties into sections in some cases. So you have northern Houghton County right there. That's in a winter storm warning, but you go down southern Houghton County, it is in a winter weather advisory. So kind of cool. We also see that over in the eastern UP, and they also have Berrien County separated into 2 zones, although we don't see that right now because there's nothing for Berrien County, but they do have that separated into 2 northern and southern Berrien County during the winter months as well for lake effect snow. So because it would make not as much sense if you issued, for example, I think it's Chippewa County up there in the eastern UP. It's about 100 miles, 150 miles wide. It's separated into 3 sections. And, you can have the far western section there that, has 8 to 12 inches possible. And then you have the eastern section that has none. So it's really cool that they do that during the winter months.
Also, if you guys notice on our page, especially in severe season, sometimes we'll get like a severe warning for Berrien County and it'll come in twice because they issue it for both northern and southern Berrien County. But our software doesn't recognize that, so it just sends out 2 alerts for the same county. So if you ever see our counties getting dual posted, it's probably because there's a county that's split. within that warning or advisory that was issued.
I don't think I pronounced the county wrong.
What county?
Ontonagon.
Ontonagon.
Yeah.
That's right.
Some people call it. What did you used to call it?
Ontonagon.
Yeah.
You know we're bound to be doing severe coverage this year, and we're gonna butcher something at some point.
Hey, we've lived here our entire lives, and some of these counties are still, some of these cities, I would say, are still a little rough. So.
That's a good question, Adria. I'm not exactly sure the exact percentage right now. I could try to find that out real quick. The info for the Great Lakes is kind of buried on like 3 or 4 different sites. So
a couple of requests in here for a live radar check too. It is our Monday night weekly, so this is more of a I guess you could say it's less of a briefing and more of just hanging out. But we do have active winter weather going on, so it is taking up most of our briefing tonight here, or our weekly here. So if you have any off-topic questions or any other questions or any requests, again, let us know and we will cover those for you.
So depends on what lake you want to go with. For example, Lake Michigan, here, I'll pop this in real quick. Lake Michigan's ice coverage right now, that black line is what we're looking at. It's below 10% coverage right now. So the black line's current and the red line is your historical average. So that's where we technically should be as an average. We're well below it right now in terms of our ice coverage. This is Lake Michigan. So
Joel should dance. We're not to 30,000 yet on YouTube. Sorry. Oakland County in the graphics shown for Tuesday into Wednesday is around the edge of that trace to 1 to 1 to 3. It depends on how heavy or how strong the winds can gust throughout the day tomorrow to carry those lake effect bands all the way to the east side of the state. Onekama is the one that gets people. Well, thankfully, I've been there multiple times and know how it's pronounced. So.
I don't have a Saginaw Bay ice coverage map. I see somebody asking for Saginaw exactly. I do have Lake Huron, though. That'll work for you. And again, we're below average there with Lake Huron. And that black line is the current, red line is where it should be.
Just below 20% there.
Yep.
And a lot of that 20% is not the open waters. It's the all the bays probably up there in Canada.
Yeah.
Well, if you're a warm weather lover, we're about 65 days till spring. Although, the warm weather doesn't really start when spring starts, so it'll probably be more like 90 days until you start getting your warmer weather back. But we'll get there eventually. We're taking it a day at a time right now, and we're enjoying the weather when we have it, what we have. So, got you covered.
As long as we don't jump right into severe season in February, that'd be fine.
Correct.
Like we did last year.
Don't have another February 27th or whatever.
That'd be bad.
Curious to see if anyone in here is watching that started following us on the day of that Grand Blanc and the Marshall tornado on February 27th. If you are, raise your hand.
Current radar across the state. We have some snow falling up here in western Michigan, Grand Rapids Metro there. Looks like it's pretty light in nature, at least at the current moment. Over in the southeast corner of the state, just some lake effect snow bands that are continuing here south of Flint. Those are going to move pretty much eastward here through the evening. So some brief snow showers there.
Bless you.
Thank you. Going up here to northern lower Michigan. Let's go ahead and check the Gaylord radar. Looks like the heaviest snow in the state currently is centered over in northern lower Michigan, Boyne City. Petoskey, Charlevoix, Gaylord, Otsego Lake areas. Snow showers continue across much of the northern part of Michigan here. And they also could be happening down here, like toward Cadillac and Manistee. We can't see it on radar.
Love to
But
say that.
we could be seeing some snow showers that are not showing up on radar just because that radar beam goes higher up in the atmosphere. It could be missing what's happening underneath it. So we could definitely get some snow. The UP is definitely a good example of this because the Western UP has no radar coverage over here. So it's just based really off user reports and what we think is going to happen. That's all our forecast is up there. We don't have radar for the Western UP for these snow events. So that is your look around the state for radar.
I'll say there's some pretty heavy bands crossing from the Gaylord radar, crossing the Gaylord or crossing the Cadillac region down there south, right around where 127 comes in to 75. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different bands there. And given how strong those are crossing central, northern, lower peninsula, you can definitely tell that they're on and producing snow all the way towards the Lake Michigan coastline. So,
yep.
But we won't have a radar up there for a little bit.
We're getting new radars, not us, but there's new radars being installed in Michigan eventually. So,
yep.
Yeah, Caden, that's a good point there. With these cold temperatures upcoming, it's important to get your driveways and your sidewalks clear of snow and ice because once we get into this polar plunge, so to speak, salt is not going to work as well. So keep that in mind. If you guys need to get out there and salt your driveways or whatever, get that done before we go into the polar plunge, especially next week. Saturday would be your last day to get that done. Friday, Saturday would be your warmer days to get that done.
Yeah,
what
Duluth,
is the?
Sorry. Duluth does have a radar, but is also too far away to capture the western shoreline.
Yeah. One of the radars that's going to be installed here next few years is going to go in the Western UP. At least it's planned to. So we're going to be able to get a little bit better coverage for radar up there.
If only we had access to it.
Let's not talk about it. What is the total amount of snowfall accumulation for the Grand Rapids area? That is a great question. I do not know the answer for. I'll have to dig into that. So I don't think that's publicly available data off the top of my head. Some NWSs have like snow totals posted on the website. I don't think Grand Rapids does. I could give you a map here, a general idea though. So give me a second. Yeah, I can't get you that data, but I can give you an estimate. So we pop over here to our model software. There's a great tool here called the find it here.
So while you're figuring that out, there's a couple questions in here. Have we covered next week potentials? It's a little too early for that. We will have a better look at it probably by Wednesday, Thursday timeline. But right now, it looks like there's going to be a little too much warm air advection for significant totals. But again, that can change in a matter of 2 days. So we'll check again soon. And there's one more question here. Do you think things will refreeze from the salt being not effective? I would say probably with any snow next week, that could be the case. But again, temperatures between now and the end of this week are going to be in the teens at the lowest. So it's right on that borderline. But then again, we're going to have that warm up by the Thursday, Friday timeframe. Anyways, there's your total for the Grand Rapids area.
Yep. So we're looking roughly, I'm going to guess, between about 20 and 30 inches according to this model here. We're seeing 28.5 there. I believe that's at the airport, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So that's going to be your rough total there. Again, these are estimates based on analysis, so they could be a little bit off, but it's a general idea. And if you go up here toward northern Michigan, we're going to see good old Gaylord there and 110 inches of snow. So
Otsego Lake, yeah.
Yep. So, and for our friends down here in Detroit Metro, we're just not going to talk about it.
Yeah, but that map looks pretty accurate. it hasn't seemed like it because a lot of it has melted off. It falls and then it melts in 2 days. So yes, Grand Rapids has seen about 2 feet of snow or more this year, but again, not representative of what's currently on the ground.
Yeah, Gaylord currently has about 8 or so inches on the ground. Actually, just posted about this last night. There's a live stream or a camera that they update that's placed at the Gaylord snow stake to measure their snow, and we had 8 inches on it last night. So they'll like to have a little bit more after the next 36 hours or so. Is anyone else missing severe weather? Not really severe weather because we don't want to see severe weather, but storm chasing and seeing a good storm, yes. For me personally, I miss thunderstorms. The warm air, the smell of rain. I'm a summer guy.
Mm-hmm. I see my dad's in here asking how many tornado tracks did Joel spot this past weekend. So for those who don't know, we just drove back from Florida on a family vacation, and I decided to check out to see like within the last 5 years where there was like tornado paths. And so every time we were, driving up 65 or 70 or 60, 65, for example, we would always try and see like where some of the major tornadoes cross and see if the damage is still there. So that was how I occupied my time on the way home. But I'm definitely missing thunderstorms. I don't know if anyone else is, but that is kind of our calling here as storm chasers. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Just tuned in. What is the map? That was our season to date snowfall totals. But that is not currently our forecast. That's not the forecast of what's to fall within the next 2 days. That is currently what's fallen so far since October. So that would be incredible if it was. I don't think 110 inches in one event has ever been recorded in Michigan. So
Yet.
Any
news on a possible big storm next week? Yes, it's a little bit too early to call. Models do have a system, but whether that trends rain, snow, misses us, we're in the wait and see phase. So anything next weekend, we'll have to wait a few more days to get a good handle on things. Any other questions before we hop out of here? Been on here about 40 minutes or so. So if anybody has any more questions about the upcoming week of weather, feel free to drop it in chat here. Otherwise, we're going to look to wrap things up here fairly soon.
Sunny and 80, not anytime soon.
I can give you the forecast in about 6 months.
5 if we're lucky.
How's traffic looking in the morning? Depends on where you're at, Summer. If you're in lake effect belts, probably be pretty slick. Otherwise, if you're in far eastern Michigan, you'll probably be okay.
I will have a traffic forecast out as usual later this evening once we're done with our stream here. Highly requested by you guys, so I'm just going to keep them going. So look forward to that probably around the 9-10 o'clock time frame.
For those of you who follow us religiously and have seen both our impact arrows and our traffic maps, which format, if you had to choose one, would you prefer? Just out of curiosity.
See, I'm a visual guy, so I love my maps. Mm-hmm. But the impact arrows do more for breaking it down into the time period. So I like both, and that's why I do both.
Just kind of curious what people like if they had to choose. There's like a overwhelming majority of voting or the map. I like both.
Thank you, Ashley. I saw that comment there. If you just follow us on YouTube, all the maps are posted and arrows are posted on Facebook. 100% of our content is always going to be posted on Facebook.
Looks like the map or both are the majority here. And then Bill comes back in and says, any map that has warm weather. I see you, Bill. I see you, Bill. This is a pretty much all day thing, Al. Starts like right now, actually. It's going to continue to become heavier overnight into tomorrow morning, and it should be done by the time we get into your Wednesday. So it's pretty much an all day event tomorrow, with the heaviest center between late tonight into the early morning hours of Tuesday. All right. I think we're ready to hop off here, Joel.
I believe so. I'm looking through any more comments here. Significant snow belt for Grand Rapids, possible. Again, with a west to east wind. The lake effect snow belts are favorable to head down straight down I-96, and that would include the Grand Rapids area. So it is possible that you could see more towards that 3 to 6 tomorrow, as you can see there on your map. The 3 to 6 is just outside the Grand Rapids metro, but any slight significant movement in the wind tomorrow, and you could see more of that 3 to 6. So same thing for Lansing. Just depends on how strong the winds can carry it.
Is Lansing a snow belt? That would be a no.
In a snow belt. It would depend on how strong the winds can get tomorrow.
Yeah, it's not typical unless we have really strong winds. Your typical snow belt, just on this map right here, is anything really in darker blue color. That's your typical snow belt or pink color.
Yep. And a reminder that this forecast starts at midnight tonight. So the snow on the ground that you have right now, the snow that's falling right now, is not contributing to this map. So keep that in mind. This is going to be this is starting at midnight tonight, going through Tuesday, and then ending on Wednesday. So this is essentially on top of what you have. So I see here, one comments, I already have 5 inches in Caledonia. So you're expecting another 3 to 6 there for Caledonia starting after midnight tonight. So hopefully that helps out. And again, roads in the morning. We'll have a traffic map out here about around 9 or 10 o'clock, or both. I guess you'd say the map and the arrows around 9 and around 10. We got to stagger them so that they're not, posted back to back immediately, so you guys can see them both. But yeah, they'll be out here after the briefing here in about an hour. Winter storm warning begin for Calhoun County. So they are actually under a winter weather advisory, which is lesser than a winter storm warning. The totals for Calhoun County, I think they're in the 1 to 4 for the text for Calhoun County. There's half of those winter weather advisories are the 2 to 5, localized 6, and half of them are 1 to 4. So it depends on what Grand Rapids split them into. But I imagine if you live further west in Calhoun County, you're more likely to get that higher end 3 to 4. No problem, Summer. Problem, Mike. Appreciate all the nice comments in here. We're doing this 365 days a year. It's our full-time operations, so we'll be back. You'll see our faces a lot throughout 2025. A quick plug, if you do want to support our full-time operations, it is completely optional, but we do have Patreon available. Patreon.com/Michigan Storm Chasers. You can support for as low as 6 cents a month, and it keeps us going, keeps these operations. We do have expenses here besides our full-time operations that help you basically provide these maps to you guys. So thank you if you are a monetary supporter. Upgrades probably not likely. I think Grand Rapids is going to stick with their 2 to 5, 1 to 4, and their advisors down there. Same thing for National Weather Service Marquette and National Weather Service Gaylord. Now I could see perhaps advisory extensions into the Detroit area if they believe those snow belts can maybe get to that 4-inch category, but at this moment it is currently probably unlikely. So. I would say snow days it's a low shot tomorrow, but given that it's going to be snowing throughout the night tonight and during the morning commute tomorrow, it is a possibility, especially if you live, further to the west. We are not superintendents for your schools, so we cannot tell you if you're going to get a snow day, but we can give you an estimated guess. Thank you, Sue. Thank you for finding us. We're happy to help.
All right, we're going to wrap it up here, guys. Been about 45 minutes or so. Before we hop out of here, though, going off of the monetary donations, we have sponsors that we like to shout out every stream who help us keep operations rolling. So if you do need some of their work, we would highly recommend these guys. Number one, we have Cat's Roofing and Siding based out of Powderville, which is near Lansing. They do a lot of exterior roof roofing, siding, gutter window needs. Storm Guard Roofing Construction based out of the Metro Detroit area. They do Oakland, Macomb counties, Detroit metro areas as well. 248-985-3239. Thank you to Storm Guard. Also got Lifestyle Exteriors. They're again based out of the Lansing and also Traverse City areas. 989-854-3055. I also have Pro Powder for all your powder coating needs based out of South Haven. 269-637-8722 would be your number to call there. And back to Cats here. Their number is 517-485-9886. I did not say their number. So for the 4 sponsors here, we really appreciate you guys sponsoring us and keeping our operations rolling here. And again, if you guys have needs for their services, feel free to give them a call and tell them MSC sent you. It would help us out and it would help them out as well. Mm-hmm. With that being said, Joel, any last comments before I roll the outro?
Not really, other than the fact that just take it easy out there tomorrow. Allow yourself a little extra time in the morning. Again, travel time will probably increase by as much as 25 to 50%. So, if you have a 30-minute commute, tack on another 10 to 15 minutes out there tomorrow. If you have an hour commute, maybe tack on an extra half hour, just depending where you're at, especially if you live in West Michigan. So keep that in mind. Again, roads are going to be slick out there tomorrow for those lake effect regions. No really avoidance around that, with temperatures going to be below freezing all night. It is currently 17 degrees here in West Michigan where I'm at. So very icy out there, very slick. So we want to make sure you guys keep it safe out there and get to your destinations alive. So we've got you guys covered here from beginning to end, and we'll have those traffic forecast maps. Again, they're forecasts out here in about an hour and a half, depending on how quick I can grind it out. So other than that, again, if you want to become a sponsor, I know you forgot to mention that, Ryan, but the contact information is up there on the top of your screen. You can also contact us for anything that you want. If you have, if you want us to come visit your school and, present, we can do that too. So that contact information is there at the top of the screen. So other than that, that's all I got. Again, I'm going to go to work here, and Ryan, you can wrap it up.
All right, guys, that'll do it for tonight's stream. We'll have updates on the page over tonight into tomorrow morning. We'll catch you guys later. Next stream will be planned for, I believe it's Monday. So we'll catch you guys, if not for Winter Storm this weekend, for the Monday timeframe. Before we hop out of here, Evan's keeping us back on another 10 seconds here with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Evan, for those. Appreciate your support. Welcome to the team for those of you who just got gifted those memberships.
Yes, thank you, Evan.
With that being said, we're going to pop out of here. We'll catch you guys next time here at Michigan Storm Chasers.
Peace out, everyone.